Now, born and bred on his parents' family farm in Gisborne of Ngāti Porou descent, it all came after watching a documentary called Resurface, and this was around helping heal American war veterans suffering post-traumatic stress disorder and how surfing was able to help them. The initiative aimed at helping improve mental health and well-being in New Zealand farmers in rural communities was that of our next guest, Stephen Thomson, who founded Surfing for Farmers and joins us now out of Gizzy. Thank you so much, Stephen, not only for joining us tonight, but what you've done, I know was a concept that has absolutely been embraced by rural communities across this country. It must be so rewarding. Can you please take our viewers and listeners back to where it all started from that moment for you, that pinnacle light bulb moment, watching that documentary going, you know what, I can do something here?
Oh yeah, kia ora, Sarah. Hey, I guess it's been a heck of a journey, but if you rewind it right back, it really did start just one sort of rainy sort of winter's day, and I guess Netflix was a bit new to me and whatnot, and I literally just typed in surfing and to see what would come up, and this documentary called Resurface came up, and we watched it, and it was quite moving. They, take these American war soldiers who have PTSD and basically in some pretty dark places and pretty open about the fact that they wanted to commit suicide, and take them surfing and basically turn their lives around through surf therapy and saltwater therapy. And at the time I thought, oh well, we could do something with that, and that was the sort of middle of winter, and then I did nothing. And then one day I was just driving back from a client's place in sort of the early spring, and I literally just rang, I think it might have been my local accountant, and I just said to him, I've got this idea, I need $1,000 and I'll tell you the rest later. And he's like, yeah, okay, done. And then I just carried on, and I had a half-hour drive, and probably by the time I got back to the office I sort of had $5,000, and by the end of the next day I had about $12,000 rattled up, and so I had the money nailed. And then I got hold of Gisborne board riders who had just been absolutely fantastic. Huge shout out to Flo and the crew there, and they got on board literally, and they supplied the wetsuits and the coaches and the surfboards. And then we got a date, and the first week of December 2018, Tuesday, basically the only thing that could go wrong would be that we had no farmers, and 25 turned up. And fast forward basically into our third summer now, and we're 16 locations this year. Yeah, so it's just gone gangbusters, really.
It's so incredible. I just love the story so much. And our editorial producer, Tessa Prentice, she is so behind it. She goes out to Sumner every Tuesday, but she told me I needed to mention to you that the Gore Bay one is very supported by farmers in North Canterbury and going gangbusters. Your connection to mental health and understanding deeply, not only your farming background, but you have worked as an agribusiness consultant before your time at Bailey's on the East Coast. What is it like, and why were you so genuinely concerned to actually take this forward into a concept?
Oh, I guess I've just seen it, there's all sorts of reasons why guys can get bogged down, and there's financial issues, there's drought, there's staffing issues, there's guys who are damn near some of the best farmers you'll ever meet, but they still can't think they're doing it right. They just don't give themselves the pat on the back they deserve. And we it's always the sort of little things that beat us up, and I've like you said, sort of been at the coalface, and in my past role, and I guess in my current role, sometimes you're dealing with a lot of guys who are under a lot of pressure, and you sort of it just literally you kind of see it all the time, and it's probably one thing we were never, or none of us are really ever taught to sort of work it out or understand what what the sort of problems or how to recognise the problems are. But when I watched that documentary, I just felt that, I don't know, if we just gave the farmers an opportunity to get off the farm for a couple of hours once a week during the busiest time of the year, it might help them. And I guess we haven't really done a whole heap of data collection or anything, but the fact is they keep coming back, and people all around New Zealand have reached out and asked us to help them, so we've done it. So it must be working, I think. Yeah.
There's the thing, and to actually try and understand sometimes why it's working defeats the purpose of the fact that it's actually working, isn't it? But the thing is, what I've learned so much about, being a part of my sister Ali's Will to Live rural mental health, is that particularly guys, they don't want to talk, but if they go into the hills, go for a walk, go for a hunt, actually just get away, that in itself is therapy. Do you think that's why surfing has been that fact they don't have to talk, but they physically have to think about something else, which is getting up on a board and surviving that wave?
Yeah, and the thing with farming compared to other businesses is that you can kind of turn off the computer and leave it in the office and go home, and it's a bit harder in any business these days with technology and phones, and everything sort of follows you in your pocket a bit. But when you live on a farm, everything's right literally outside your back door, and you don't get away from the dramas. And some of the comments we got last year, last year was the first time there's probably a pretty serious drought that basically almost a whole generation of young up-and-coming farmers had seen. And really, that was quite eye-opening, because what it did was it meant that these guys could come down to surfing, a couple of hours in the water or whatever it is, clear the mind, sort of switch off. If they wanted to talk to people or whatever, they could. If they were just out there to catch a wave, we get farmers that just paddle out and just sit out the back and don't even almost try to catch a wave. They're just quite happy sitting there away from everything. But what it meant was that they actually can sort of, wash the sort of dust out of everything and get a little bit refreshed. And then the awesome thing is we have this great mix of people, and, here's a guy who's going through his first drought, being able to talk to a guy who's going through his 20th drought, and they both got a clear mind, and they're both refreshed, and they can actually have a conversation that has some meaning, as opposed to a stressed out guy thinking he's listening but taking nothing in, and actually going home and not doing anything he was told because he didn't really take it in, or it just went in one ear and out the other because he couldn't focus. So it's all over the show what it does. But we've had comments like this is way better than sitting at home and looking out the window at having no feed, just being able to get away from it. And really, at the end of the day, I don't like the surfing, and there's definitely science around salt water, but what we're doing is we're creating an opportunity for people to come down to an event that's a little bit different to what they normally do. And we're teaching them a habit, which is surfing, which they can do any time of the year. It's cheap to do. Anyone can do it. You just got to have a go. And, we've got boards that you could put the All Black front row on and it still won't sink. And so you don't have to be any good. You can be any size or shape. We'll get you up, we'll get you going, and we'll get you out there, and we'll make sure you go home absolutely grinning from ear to ear.
God, you've given me absolute confidence now to actually maybe go out with Tessa, because that was the thing, is you think, oh goodness, but even just to paddle out the back and just sit out there and just chill, I'd go out just for that alone. And I certainly know from my magnesium, Epsom salts in the bath, that it does. It scientifically, there is proven as a stress relief. Stephen, you must be, how rewarding is it for you personally just to notice that you created an idea and it's had a ripple effect like this?
Oh, yeah, look, it's pretty awesome. Like, at the end of the day, it was just an idea, and if I'd rung 2 or 3 of those first initial guys and asked for the money and they told me to shoot through, I probably would have flagged it then and there. So, I might have been the idea, but there's been 100 people carry it on and make sure it sort of has turned into what it is. And, like I said, without Gisborne board riders, we would have been absolutely screwed. money's money, but you need people to do the doing, and that's what we've got now is just a nationwide group of volunteers, and that are absolutely awesome. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to work as hard as I can to keep the ship steady, you might say. But yeah, right now I'm quite happy to give all the kudos to everyone that's helping us keep going.
Hey, Stephen, I'm a bit of an opportunist, which means basically when I get a really good guest on with an awesome background like yourself, I might actually take a bit of a sideline into another topic. So bear with me. But with the background serving on the Federated Farmers Committee, Poverty Bay A&P show, you've been a local agribusiness consultant, dealt with lots of Māori corporations and trusts on the East Coast, and now working for Bailey's as well as owning a horticulture orchard. How's that for a bio? How is Gisborne rural communities going, facing, the influx of trees, and how's the general rural community getting around the challenges ahead, just as a bit of a commentator on the area?
I guess on the whole is pumping. We've got our biggest issue right now in the region's a housing shortage, and a lot of that's because of how much the town is humming in a primary industry. And whether you love or hate pine trees, they do create jobs. But it's also the horticulture is humming, sheep and beef is humming. The region in itself is just we're going gangbusters. We're really lucky, really. At the end of the day, definitely COVID gave the town a bit of a shake-up, but relative to the others, we're going really good, and that's basically due to our primary industry, and yes, probably sheep and beef and horticulture at the forefront of that, because as you saw during COVID, there was a lot of hurt in the forestry sector. Obviously, once the timber prices bailed out, the whole job just shut. Did not say that. Shut down. But yeah, so no, we're going really well, and there's definitely sort of the challenges being carbon farming, and where does the price of carbon stop, and then obviously if every farm that goes to carbon doesn't actually create a lot of jobs long term, it sort of gets planted, gets pruned, gets thinned. And then that's it, really. And then after that, it's a few guys with some clipboards doing some sort of management throughout the year and whatnot. But there's no jobs for logging truck drivers or harvesting crews or roading fellas. So it's
No, I think
there's an underlying issue there. Yeah.
Hey,
definitely.
Thank you so much for putting, I put you on the spot there, but I think ongoing as a commentator out of the Gisborne region, because you certainly have a handle on everything that's going on there. And sometimes it's just really nice to have a feel of, because as you just said, every region's really different. But the reason we have been talking to Stephen Thomson is the founder of Surfing for Farmers, in 2018, founding that, and such an incredible opportunity. So, of course, jump online if you want to know where your local, he said 16 different areas that Surfing for Farmers is.
This is Sarah's Country.